When the Lexus was brought to the Sally Port, did you have a chance to again look at that right rear taillight?
Yes.
And did you make observations of it?
Yes.
While you were at the Canton Police Department and in the Sally Port area, did you ever see anybody take a piece or in any way remove part of that broken taillight from the Lexus?
No, I did not.
If you had, what have you done? Do you recognize that photo?
I do.
What do you recognize it as?
I recognize it as the damaged and missing pieces of the right rear taillight on the defendant's Lexus SUV.
When the Lexus was brought into the Sally Port, was there still snow on it?
Yes, there was.
Was there any snow on it that covered parts of the vehicle?
Yes, there was.
Was there any snow in that area
Currently, no.
when you first brought it into the Sally Port?
I'm sorry, in the area of the vehicle?
No, the area of that taillight.
Yes, there was, yes.
How close did you get to take a look at that?
I was within a foot of it.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of what you saw?
Yes, it is.
From what you saw, was the damage you saw when you looked at the car for the first time in the Sally Port area any different than the damage that appears on this Exhibit 13?
It is not.
If that was true, the taillight would look just like this one, with water spots in it, salt spots. That taillight is pristine. There is no spots inside of it. That means it was broken inside the Sally Port and not exposed to any kind of snow, because the snow would have been inside the taillight, and it would have melted, and it would have left water spots and salt spots behind. That's a fact.
Thank you. Did you look for other evidence that the taillight was broken before it came into the Sally Port area?
Yes, I did.
Did you have a chance to view the ring video from Meadows Road at 5:07 in the morning?
Yes, I did.
And when you looked at that, did you have an opportunity to look at the defendant's Lexus backing up and then leaving that driveway?
Yes, I did.
Did you have a chance to see if there was any evidence?
Yes, I did.
And what did you see that stood out to you about the taillight?
The taillight is shining white and not covered by a red taillight cover, which would have produced a red light.
See what color it lights up as. All the red is gone. There's no red on this taillight anymore. Even the side marker light, as you can clearly see, it's red. All the lights are red. That's the brake light.
And what did you see that stood out to you about the taillight?
The taillight is shining white and not covered by a red taillight cover, which would have produced a red light.
Now this is what they want us to think that car going down the driveway looked like. You've got the bulb lit up white. As you can clearly see, the bulb is lit up white. This is what they're wanting us to believe, that with the red lens over the taillight, this is what it would look like. Bulb, lens. See, it's red. That's how a lot of taillights are. The bulb is behind it. The lens makes it red with the lens missing. The white light shining through, just like Hank Brennan says. But in real life, this is what the taillight really looks like. I put that white bulb and lit it up and taped it to the front of the taillight to set an example of what they say it looks like. There is no white light inside of this taillight anywhere. See, the lens is clearly broken right there, and you can still see the red LEDs underneath that other clear plastic. It is all red LEDs except for the turn signal right there, which is yellow. Now, I don't know what they're trying to prove here, but this is not a piece of the taillight in any way, shape, or form. In fact, that is not a part of the car, period. That is a bottom of a plastic bowl or dish or like a Tupperware. That is not a part of the car. They are trying to fool the jury with this big piece of plastic that is in no way, shape, or form a part of the taillight. Here are the taillight pieces other than the housing. This is all of the pieces. That's the diffuser. That's all of the diffuser pieces. That's just random pieces, like where the license plate goes, and those two holes are what screwed it in. That's the back housing. That's the front housing. That piece of plastic is not part of the taillight. Now let's move on to the hat. Look at the snow where it's missing from the grass. It looks like the hat was scraped down to grass and then placed there. That is not how a hat would normally just be laying. Somebody got it down to the grass and stuck it there. That is just too obvious that it wasn't naturally like that. Otherwise, it would look different. Now, another big point of the video. This one is altered as well. When the truck goes past, we never see the red taillight, which would clearly be sticking out of the side like this. And if the taillight looked like this, we would definitely see the reflector as the truck goes past on the tow truck, because there is a light shining on it, so it would be glaringly obvious. This would even be more obvious than if the taillight was completely intact, in my opinion, because that reflector would definitely shine in the light from the camera. Notice how on the back of the tow truck it is edited out completely. You don't see any taillight. It is just completely black. Here it is again, black. That is edited video once again.
As Brian Albert, his brother, Selectman Chris Albert, and ATF agent Brian Higgins move towards the exit, an interesting exchange occurs. We will watch the next 20 seconds uninterrupted, then break it down frame by frame. Let's watch. Higgins is looking in John's direction. Chris Albert says something to sister-in-law, Nicole, as she steps towards the door. Daughter Caitlin Albert is closest to the exit. Brian Albert enters frame right. Brian and Nicole continue. We see Higgins focused, like a laser beam on John. And Chris Albert's attention has now shifted directly onto Higgins, appearing to sense what he is about to do. Higgins goes to raise his arm and brother catches Brian's attention. And Higgins, whipping his head toward Chris, seems just as taken aback by the sudden hostility as we are. Notice that Chris is grasping Higgins' shirt so tightly that you can see tension in the fabric. And as much tension on his face. Chris pushes Higgins' arm down to Higgins defies Chris's instruction to get going. Chris is not happy with this. His stare is ice cold and locked on Higgins. Higgins sidesteps Chris and is animated. Then Chris turns to look at John to see what his reaction is. In minutes, John will be fatally injured. Cue the tape. In 3, 2, 1.
Now let's watch it again. Pay attention to Brian, Nicole, and Brian Higgins. They all three motion for John. I do not know what it means, but I've never seen it before and thought it was interesting. That means Brian and Nicole both knew what was going on. Because why are all of them motioning John to come outside? It is just weird to me. Now here it is even clearer. They are definitely motioning for John to come outside. All three of them. Now I wonder if Chris was the one trying to stop it. I just wanted to touch on the CERT team searching, especially one of the individuals that are standing there. Why does this guy look like he's in a gimp suit? He is so covered up you can't see any features of him whatsoever. Another observation, all of these taillight pieces are on top of the snow, and we know that at the time they're claiming there would have barely been any snow on the ground, so all of these pieces should have been in touch, like actually touching the grass, but they're not. They're always on top of the snow. Now look how little the snow was at that time. There's barely any snow covering the grass, barely any even on the asphalt, but the ground is probably a little warmer. Here's the area where they were searching, the CERT team. Even here you see them walking around the fire hydrant, and that's where they found the biggest piece. So why didn't they find it then? And here's the area that they dug out. That is not very much at all. In fact, they're not even down to the grass. How could they even say they searched? They should have been all the way down to bare grass. This is just ridiculous. That little area with all of those guys, that's just ridiculous. I don't know what to make of it. But they certainly knew exactly where they were looking. And then we get to the hat once again. That hat looks like it was purposely brushed all the way down to the grass. The way it's looking right there, it just does not look natural whatsoever. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you. Also, to my subscribers, I really appreciate all of you. You all help keep me going. And to the people that have donated and given me super chats, I greatly appreciate it. I had to take out a loan to buy all of these taillights in this arm. So if you find my work interesting and you think it helps, you can donate. The links will be in the description. It is greatly appreciated. Because without taking out a loan, I would have never been able to buy all this stuff. Thank you.